Welcome. You're watching Retire Your Way, and I'm your co-host, Mark Henry, and I'm joined today with Ben Heizer, the CEO and founder of Thrive, and I just love that name. So what inspired you to make this name change? I know you've been in business for, I don't know, what, 16 plus years? Yeah. And you've made a giant name change to Thrive, and I love the name, but tell me, what's going on here, Ben?
You know, what we did, Mark, is it just outgrew me as an individual. It kind of felt very selfish. I always wanted to own a business. Yeah. Started a long time ago, and we've had a lot of success due to the fact that our client family is so amazing. Yeah. They send people to us, they encourage us, they tell us the things that they need, and we have such a great dialogue with our clients. And with that, through the different areas that they've been encouraging us to continue to grow and adapt in, it just outgrew me as an individual, because now we can encompass our entire team, folks, as we continue to grow, move and expand into different states. And Thrive really does encompass what we do with our customers. We don't want them surviving because we're not prepared. We want them thriving.
I love that. And you know, when I got the opportunity to co-host with you, I really jumped on it because I know you've helped so many people in your area, and to see that success story, you know, with what we've been through, the country has been through, and many financial firms, I do these shows around the country, but they're not thriving and their clients aren't thriving. To see you having to change names and rebrand because you've outgrown Heizer Financial. This is amazing. Most people don't have that story to tell.
It's fun. It's a super big blessing for sure.
Yeah, it really is. And I just love that about you. So if you're new to the show, you're in for a treat today, because we're going to talk about some pretty difficult subjects when it comes to retirement and stuff. But it's not a scripted show. It's really live television. And so you'll really get to see Ben interact with me, and we're going to have a good time. So you're in for a treat. Well, let's jump in. So it's this idea that you were sharing with me prior to the show about 3 phases of retirement. I think, well, you know, life has so many more phases. I remember as I had the young kids that are older and all that. But when you get into retirement, I thought you just, you know, got the gold watch and off into the sunset you went. So there's actual phases in retirement. Tell me about that.
There sure is. I mean, we all focus on saving and distribution, but in the distribution phase, Mark, there's actually 3 different phases that we go through. In the beginning of our years, we call those the go-go years. All right?
The go-go, yeah, okay.
Kind of in between, right? We're now 75-ish plus. Now those are the slow-go years. And then lastly are the no-go years. And so
wait,
we have
so I want to break this down. So let's take a typical person that might retire. I mean, I don't know if there's any typical. I work around the country and I see everything but typical. But let's say what we used to think of as typical retirement. Yeah. 65, let's say. Yeah. So tell me again, what does that look like? Well, 65 to what, 75 you're saying?
Yeah, so when, you know, when we're healthy, things are going really, really well. We've just now got the freedom of time, and we started to figure out, okay, this is what I put my boots on every day to go do. What do I want to go? Travel, right? Fishing, golfing, boating, you know, all the fun things.
Classic cars.
Yeah, building classic cars. Sure. Those are wonderful goals and aspirations and dreams. And starting with that dream allows us to understand, how do we prepare for those go-go years to make sure that if we need a little bit more money, we can do the things that we want, versus being afraid that we're going to run out of money.
Well, see, that goes to exactly what I have experienced around the country. Is people, you can't get them to agree on anything in this crazy world. We're not going to get political. It's not a political show. You're okay. Trust me, don't turn off. But let me ask you a question. Do you agree that you can't get 2 people in a room to agree on almost anything in this crazy time we live in?
It's really sad, but no, it's very, very difficult.
But what's the one thing that you know they all agree on watching this show right now? Give me one thing that you believe they probably all agree on.
They all agree that they don't want to run out of money in retirement.
It's the #1 rule. Yep. And that wasn't scripted, but that's the honest truth, isn't it? And anybody's watching, I got to go with that on that one. I don't want to run out. I mean, you know, I would dare say you're going to have an opportunity in a few minutes. You have an amazing offer for people. But literally, if you fell into this category, like when I think about my own kids, while I never really, people have different ideas on legacies and what they want to leave to kids. I'm sure you've experienced that. Personally, I don't really care about leaving them a lot. They can just, I've tried to raise self-sufficient kids. You know, I'm okay if I don't leave them anything. I will probably, but I don't really care. Some people really want to.
It's true.
But one thing I know that I never wanted to be, and I never want to be, is a burden to my kids.
That's so true. And, you know, outside of that even too, Mark, is, you know, we don't want to be a burden to our kids, but what about just respecting the wise stewardship that we've used to save the money that we have,
right,
and make sure that if there's money left, that is also passed in an efficient way, because that's respecting the time that we have put in to saving and amassing.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that. And I think that's why, though, going back to this idea of the go-go years,
yep,
I meet people that kind of miss, is that the right way to say it, miss the go-go years. Like when I say miss them, they didn't do what they planned on doing. They saved and thought about it all this time, and then didn't use the money during the go-go years.
Yep.
And I think that's because of, what do you call those end years, the no-goes?
The no-go years.
Well, they don't want to be out of money.
That's true.
So how do you accomplish that? Like, I think Wall Street maybe has failed us in the fact that looking at a statement,
yep,
doesn't tell us how much we can spend, does it?
It doesn't, no.
What's missing here?
I mean, we're looking at a statement, and what we're missing is we have a product, but we don't have a plan on how to use it. We have wealth, but we don't know how to organize it in a way that we know we can feel confident about using money in the go-go years and still having money left in the no-go years.
Yeah, I mean, that just, I can't, you know, I never want to propose what it's going to be like when I get to heaven, and, you know, but I can only imagine God saying, you know, I blessed you with so much, you never did anything. And then the answer is, well, I was afraid. I don't think that's a good answer.
No.
You know, and again, but I think Wall Street has tried to convince, and I hear this around the country.
Yeah.
They've tried to convince people that a statement is a plan.
Yep.
How do you feel about that comment?
I feel like that's a huge undervalue that the financial industry as a whole has kind of just misrepresented. You know, we get focused, but again, to a point, they focus on accumulation, right? And so we get so focused on our saving years that we don't really focus on how are we going to use it throughout retirement. It's kind of like playing the board game of life, right? We play the board game, we go through all the twists and turns through the game, and then we get to the retirement village, and it's over. Where do we go from there? And that's where a lot of people miss it, is there's different folks out there. Some folks only focus on accumulation, and you might have someone like that. Or there's folks like we like 10, 15 years away from retirement. We put a plan together on how to take the wealth you've accumulated and maximize it and optimize it, not only for the things that you want to do through life, because again, it's your retirement. We want you to retire your way, not your neighbor's way. We want you to retire with your goals and dreams intact, whether you're in the go-go, right, the slow-go or the no-go. We want them to be efficiently used and prosperous.
They're telling us we got to go to commercial break, but this is an amazing opportunity you've got, and I want to make sure I've got this correct. Your team, and I know you have licensed fiduciaries on your team, you have certified financial planners, it's a big team.
It is.
But you've agreed, and I want to make sure I have this right, you're going to accept the next 15 callers, and it's 100% complimentary, meaning there's absolutely no obligations and no charge for what you're offering. Am I correct?
That is true.
All right, you heard him say it. Here you go. This is your chance. This is an amazing chance for you right now, and you have to be one of the lucky 15 callers. But here's the number. I want you to write this down right now. 855-855-7655. Again, that's 855-855-7655. Ben and his team have agreed to accept the next 15 callers. If you've saved, let's say, $250,000 or more for retirement, this is your opportunity for a full-blown, comprehensive retirement review, including receiving a written retirement plan done by a certified financial planner. I've seen others charge $1,000 or more for something like this. We're going to give it away absolutely. You heard him say it. You heard Ben say absolutely complimentary. 855-855-7655. Pick up the phone and dial it right now. Hey, we have so much more coming up on Retire Your Way. Stay tuned.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way. I'm your co-host, Mark Henry, and of course, I'm joined with the founder of Thrive, Ben Heizer himself. Ben, thanks for having me on again today. This is really, really exciting, and I love this idea of using your money wisely in the go-go years, but also knowing you're not out of money in the no-go years, or the slow-go for that matter. You know, and I think there really is 3 true phases of retirement. So how do you accomplish this? I mean, it's this idea that you know, I've read these stories I saw on the internet. You know, the internet's always truthful, right?
Everything on it's true, right?
And it said that a typical retiree will spend 75 or 80% of what they earned in retirement. And I thought, well, which 20% of my lifestyle do I want to cut out? I kind of like my lifestyle. In fact, I want to add to my lifestyle. I want to do those go-go years the way you were talking about. Like I want to have something I've never had before, time. Am I the odd duck there?
Man, I will tell you what, I have no idea where some of these statistics come from. We're going to live off of 80 or 85% of our working income. That's not what I experience with our clients, but I actually feel, you know, Mark, a lot of people are remiss in the sense of, you know, hey, is your financial advisor right now asking you, what is your goal? What is your dream that you want to add to your fixed expenses in retirement? Because when we have the freedom of time, like you're talking about, we have the energy to go do it. Now we're not bogged down by raising kids and doing all these things. We can just go enjoy the money that we've worked, the wealth that we've accumulated. And if we have the income to do it, that's the key. Our income, our paycheck in retirement, how are we generating that to ourselves, but including in the things that cost money that now we have the freedom of time to go enjoy. We got to build them in, and normally it's not 85% of what someone's working income is, and oftentimes it's 115, 120%, and we got to plan for it.
Wow. So when you build a retirement plan, what do you think is one of the biggest? I mean, we could do a whole show on this, I guess, but but what is there one thing that you start with, like an idea or a concept? Is there one big thing that people need to be looking at?
We have to have a plan and a strategy, and there's really 5 key areas. But one of the absolute most important things, we get focused on the big lump sum, right? There's commercials. I don't remember when it was, but I think it was Fidelity.
What's your
number?
Something.
What's your number? What's your number?
It was a company that doesn't exist anymore, P&G or ING or one of them things. It was called What's Your Number? And I thought that was kind of dumb, because wouldn't that be different for everybody?
It's so custom tailored to any individual's need, because, you know, some people are going to say, hey, you know what? Social Security covers about 40% of my income need, and the rest of it I got to fill with, maybe you're lucky enough to have a pension. Maybe you're not, and you have to create your own private pension to make sure that you have a guaranteed cash flow. It's not a lump sum illusion. You have to look at, if I'm going to pinpoint one thing, Mark, I'm going to go ahead and go with having an income stream that we know we can feel confident in, and you can never outlive it, no matter what phase in our retirement we are in.
You caught me by surprise with that, because that wasn't what I thought you were going to say. When I do these shows around the country, people talk about, well, you have to watch for market risk, you have to watch for this, and I always think those are good answers. But you went straight to the income. So tell me why you're so passionate about income planning.
Well, I mean, Mark, let's think about it. We work, right? We generate an income in retirement.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm in here working to get an income. You are paying me, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
And, you know, we work for our clients to make an income and provide our lifestyle. In retirement, we also have to have an income that allows us to sustain our lifestyle. And that's why, I think it's like 72% of people are so concerned about running out of money. They're afraid to spend because they don't actually have a plan that they know is guaranteed, that addresses inflation. We got to adjust for inflation.
In this market, yeah.
I mean, 7%. If you needed 10,000 a month now, and now we need an extra 7% added to that. If you got 100 grand a year, now we need 107. We have to plan for these types of things over time. What happens if Uncle Sam, in a couple years, when they reassess taxes, because they've been accumulating some debt? You notice that one?
Yeah.
Is anyone concerned about the fact that if your income is taxable in retirement, have you prepared and been proactive to address the tax situation on our income, right? The inflation on our income. And of course, if you're going to have money at risk, now you got risk. You could have a perfect storm that if they all hit at one time
could be devastating.
Blow up your plan, blow up your dream.
But going back to this idea of income, I think about in my own life.
Yeah.
When there was more expenses than income,
Yep.
I either chose to cut something out of my lifestyle,
Yep.
or I found a way to get more income, which even involved at one point in my career, I had to take another job. I changed jobs to get more income, or I took a part-time job.
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't do that in retirement.
No. We sacrifice, right, over time to accumulate our wealth. That delayed gratification that we've worked so hard to have, all of us.
Correct.
You, me, you sitting there right now, you've worked very, very diligently to build the wealth that you have. In retirement, that's when we get to enjoy it. But we have to have a plan, not a product. It's not about having a product. It's about putting everything together in a whole plan, addressing the things. Yeah, Mark, risk is important. We got to address it. We got to mitigate that. Big step backwards, again, to our portfolios in retirement could impact, right? If you're taking your money from that variable source, we could end up finding our savings being cut by, our income being cut by 20 or 30 or 40% if we're not prepared for the risk
Due to
that we
market
have.
conditions, and who wants that?
No, and they are locking in losses. So that's an asset class. There's other asset classes that give us guarantees that we don't have to stress about. Is the paycheck going to come in? Is it going to increase over time? Would you want an income stream in retirement that not only covers your goals and dreams, but also addresses inflation and taxes? And is your current person doing that with you?
That's a great question, which is why we're going to open the phone lines up. Randy says it's time. Can we do it?
Let's do it.
All right. So listen, this is so important. Got a lot of fives in this number for you, but I want you to take out your pen right now, or better yet, just take out your phone and go ahead and call. Be one of the lucky next 15 callers at 855-855-7655. Again, that number is 855-855-7655. Ben and his amazing team will sit down and help you build your very own confident financial future by getting you what you know you need, a written retirement plan done by a certified financial planner. I've seen others charge $1,000 or more for plans with similar features and offers. They're going to give it away absolutely complimentary. That means leave your checkbook at home. Absolutely complimentary if you're one of the lucky next 15 callers. Not some cookie cutter plan, a personalized around your hopes, your dreams, your money. It should be your way. 855-7655. Hey, stay tuned. We've got so much more coming up on Retire Your Way.
When was the last time you saw your financial professional? Are you getting the most out of the strategy that was created for you? Although you've done a great job finding someone to help plan for your future, are you 100% sure that you were given the right strategy? We can help answer these questions and more with a complimentary second opinion evaluation. We will take a look at what you have in place and then help determine if you're well positioned to get the most out of your future retirement income. In the event that it is not, we can help by making suggestions and showing you how to get on the right path. You wouldn't get just one opinion when it comes to a major health decision, so why would you treat your most important financial decision with such disregard? Call today for your no-cost, no-obligation second opinion evaluation to see if you're getting the most out of your retirement income plan.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way. I'm your co-host, Mark Henry, and of course, I'm joined today with the founder and CEO of Thrive. I just love it. I'm so used to knowing you as Heizer Financial.
Yep.
And in this crazy market that we're in, and with all the turmoil that the last few years that our country has experienced, to see you growing in ways that, I guess if you were probably honest, you didn't even ever think possible, did you?
No.
I mean, you always plan for success. I know you do that with your clients. You help very successful investors and have for 16 years.
Yeah.
And you plan for success. But could you have planned for this kind of success in your firm? I mean, really?
I mean, it's been really fun. And, it's weird when COVID came and shifted, and then all of the different opportunities that came about.
Yeah.
And just a lot of the hard work that was put in. You always hope that it works to be what
but you don't know till it happens.
And now it's outside of what I could have ever thought, asked, or imagined for.
Yeah, and that's not a story. It's one that I'm sure you're very humble with. But, I know doing this around the country, many firms didn't experience that.
Yeah.
A lot of them went out of business. A lot of them didn't have any kind of growth. And you thrived to the point where you had to actually change your name to Thrive. So I love this, though, this show that you have, and it's so educational. If you're new to Retire Your Way, you're in for a treat. We're having a lot of fun on this show. But I really feel like, as I do this around the country, so many big box firms are trying to retire my way.
Yep.
And you clearly spelled it out when you said, no, this is retire your way. Talk to me about that, because I really feel like so many people are stuck in this cookie cutter mold that Wall Street has built for them. And it's not retiring your way, the audience, it's retiring maybe their way, the big box company.
Well, I like to joke with people, and you may know a worse joke to this, but opinions are like armpits, right? We all have them, and they stink. And so, oftentimes I feel like the financial industry has failed to a degree, and where we like to challenge the status quo is we want to educate our clients and empower them with the knowledge to understand their money, because it is their money. Most of you know exactly what you want. It's just, am I getting it? What am I getting for what I'm paying? See, big box companies are captive to a degree of what they can offer to their customers. It doesn't make them bad. And I started in the big box situation for a few years before I branched out on my own. But the interesting thing is I was very limited on what I could do, and I didn't like that. So our firm, Thrive, is 100% independent. And what we do is there's not an asset class or a product that we would not be open to putting into somebody's portfolio to help them accomplish their dream, if it's appropriate.
If it's the right tool.
It's got to be the right tool for the right job.
Well, it's funny because I'm listening to you say that, and I know what you're saying is absolutely accurate, because I remember very clearly I had a caller call in on a radio show that I was hosting, and they talked about something that they had been offered from a big box retailer, and they took it. But in this case, their advisor was not just a friend or an advisor. It was literally a family member that was helping them. And they found out years later that it was an improper item for them. And they could have done better. And they were really upset because they felt slighted by their family member. And when I figured out, and I was actually on this call, that the family member gave them the best thing that he, in this case it was a man, that he had available. Because he was in a box. And he only had, so he chose the best tool that he had.
Correct.
It simply wasn't the best tool that was available. It was the best tool that was in his toolbox, and his toolbox was limited by what that employer allowed him to use. So when you said that, I thought clearly to that phone call, because it wasn't his fault, really. He was only allowed to do what he was allowed to do.
And that's so true. I mean, there's so many, there's really two different styles that I have a style that I want to empower our clients to understand their money, and we work with them to develop a plan to accomplish their dream. But we're going to start with their goals and dreams, and then we're going to put the right product or services together to help them accomplish it, versus being like what a lot of people have experienced, which is a follow me person. Hey, do what I tell you to do. Here's the best thing to do. This is that, X, Y, and Z, exactly what you're talking about.
That's how that industry works. And I'm not trying to beat up on it.
Yeah,
I love this industry. But there needs to be change when it comes to what you're speaking about.
Agreed. And that's why we've created the Retire Your Way system to address those things with people. It's why we educate on it. I had experiences too, right? My grandma left us an inheritance when I was in college, right before the dot-com bubble burst.
Oh, wow.
We gave it to a broker, right? They didn't tell us how much risk we had or how much we could potentially even lose inside of the portfolio. 85% of grandma's inheritance to us when I was in college evaporated in 01 and 02. Now, we fired that person. Why? Not because he lost us money, I mean, that's part of it, but ultimately because they didn't set the right expectation. And so with our clients, Mark, one of the biggest differences I think that we have is we like to set proper and clear expectations so that you know exactly what your money can do, how much risk it has, the guarantees for income, the tax liability that you're going to run into. If you want to leave a legacy, how do we organize it or give the most? And those healthcare concerns, right? We have people on our team that can help you answer those questions as well.
Ben, I think it's very clear. We're running out of time. We're going to have to get the network to get you more time because I've got more questions, and I know the viewers probably do too. But I want to tell you, I think it's very clear why Heizer Financial is thriving and had to change its name to Thrive. I think it's very clear. Here's an opportunity for you right now. Please don't miss this. 855-855-7655. If you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, this is your opportunity to come in and 100% complimentary get a written financial plan. A confident financial future starts right now with a phone call. But you are going to have to do one thing. There's no obligations, but I guess there's one. You have to get up off the couch right now and pick up the phone and call 855-855-7655. Are you so confident in your current plan, if you even have one, that you're not willing to get a second opinion? Don't miss this opportunity. It all starts right now with a simple phone call. 855-855-7655. You know what you need. You know what you want. You want to retire your way. Now's the time to get it. Hey, we hope you found the information useful and helpful today, because that's exactly how it was intended. And I can't encourage you more. Please stay tuned and watch next week on Retire Your Way.